Women voters for having us. My name is Tony Johnson. I am running for County Commissioner, District 1. I am a Republican, and I am a fiscal conservative. I am a fourth generation Latah County resident and a lifetime resident of Moscow. Just moved to the suburbs of Iola about 20 years ago. So anyway, I own my own business for over 20 years. I've owned and operated Johnson Excavation Service here in Moscow. I have 11 years of experience in city and county government. I served 6 years on Moscow City Council, and one of those years I was council president. And I've served 5 years on the Latah Planning Commission. All of these, I feel, are great qualifications for a county commissioner. When choosing your next county commissioner, look for proven experience. I believe I have that experience, one through business, one through county government, and through city government. One of my goals is to maintain the current balance on the commission board. Right now, the commission board is very well balanced with the current members. You've got a gentleman on the left, you've got a gentleman in the middle, and you've got a gentleman on the right. I want to replace the gentleman on the right to keep that balance and to keep moving forward with Latah County government.
Thank you, Ms. LaFortune.
Hi, I'm Kathy LaFortune, and I'm also running for Latah County Commissioner, District 1. About 30 years ago, we moved to Moscow for the standard reason. My husband got a job here, teaching junior high school, and as a physical therapist, I knew I would be able to find work. Less than a year later, we had our first child, and I went into business for myself as a contract pediatric physical therapist. That's a mouthful. And we chose to stay for this community. We chose to live here. I raised my children here, I buried a husband here, I recently buried my mother here, and this is home. I've spent my entire career working in the schools and in private family homes in Latah County. I have a unique perspective on what families in our area are facing. I've served on hundreds of teams. Being a good team member means truly listening to all sides of an issue, thoughtfully and kindly deliberating when there are differences, and there will be differences, and finding solutions to complex and interrelated problems. It's very much the same skill set that's required of a county commissioner. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum tonight, and I'm looking forward to serving as your next county commissioner.
Thank you. Mr. McGraw, next.
This morning, Commissioner Lamar, Commissioner Walsh, and myself were driving from one end of town to the other in Dick's car, and he was driving, and Commissioner Lamar happened to be in the back seat, and he kind of looks up and says, "Dick, you've got a noise in the back of your car. I think you got a rock or something in your brakes." And any of you know Dick Walser, without even looking up from the road, reached over, punched the on button on his radio, and said, "There, fixed. Anything else?" That is so Dick Walser-esque. We're going to miss him, that's for sure. But the lesson behind that story is, what does a county commissioner do? We listen, we analyze, and then we solve, and that's what we do. We had a question asked at a couple of forums ago. What does a county commissioner do? You've got 60 seconds to answer the question. You need probably 45 minutes at least to answer that question. So, Commissioner Walsh, you're going to be very much missed. Thank you for being here tonight. And I look very much forward to y'all's questions and hearing what y'all have to say tonight. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Scott.
I'm Kerry Scott. I'm a resident of Latah County since January of '82 when my parents moved us up here from California. I attended Moscow High School, graduated, went off and joined the Army, served for 4.5 years, met my wife, convinced her to move to Moscow, and we raised our children here. I graduated from the University of Idaho in 2012, and I've been a Moscow resident for pretty much all my life. My parents had a small business in town for 28 years. I did a lot of work for them. I work for a small business in town. I go out around the counties a lot. I talk to a lot of people. I see a lot of people. But about every 2 months, I have somebody take me aside and say, "Hey, are you the owner? Is this your company?" And I say, "No." And I ask them why. And without a doubt, every time I've asked, somebody says, "Because you're knowledgeable, because you're friendly, because you answered my questions, because you assuaged my problems, You took the time to listen to me, you took the time to talk to me, you didn't dismiss what I had to say, and I was actually told I was the example of customer service personified, which I was like, wow, thank you very kindly. So I'm running for seat 3 against Mr. McGraw. I'm wanting to represent you, the citizens of Latah County. I want to listen to you, I want to talk to you, I want to try to help you solve your problems, and I think I will do a fairly decent job. Thank you kindly.
Thank you very much. Ms. Gottschall.
Good evening. Thanks for being here, everyone. My name is Peggy Gottschalk, and I'm a candidate for the treasurer position here. I'm a lifelong resident of Latah County. I grew up on a farm near Potlatch, and I graduated from Potlatch schools. I attended the University of Idaho, where I earned a bachelor's degree in business and accounting. I've been married to my husband, Mark, for over 34 years, and we have 2 sons. My relationship with numbers began in school, where I excelled in math, and I found accounting to be my calling. My first experience as a treasurer was in high school, where I served as a student body financial secretary. As a student at the University of Idaho, I worked in several departments, performing a variety of administrative duties. Following graduation, I worked as a full-charge accountant for several local businesses. Then I went into business for myself after having my first child, managing my own bookkeeping business for about 15 years. I've worked for farmers, loggers, truckers, electricians, excavation operation, a repair business, a crop duster pilot, restaurants, and a sewer district, to name a few. Over the years, I have volunteered and served on the board and as treasurer for numerous organizations. I currently work for President Gage Accounting, where I help businesses keep their finances in order, prepare tax returns, and help employers with their payroll. I've been helping others keep track of their money for over 30 years. I have a great attention for detail, and I'm always looking for efficient ways of completing a task. I'm meticulous and thorough in my work, and I always strive to do a good job and do it right the first time. I have the experience and the expertise to be a trustworthy treasurer for the citizens of Latah County. I will serve the people of this county and be a good steward of the funds that have been entrusted to me. I believe in accountability, honesty, integrity, and hard work. I will work with the other officials in the county to make sure the government runs like clockwork. You can trust me to be ethical, transparent, and a responsible
Thank you very
and
much.
savvy manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Swanson.
I'm BJ Swanson. I'm a candidate for Latah County Treasurer. I've lived in Latah County my entire life. I'm a graduate of Erie High School and Pacific Coast Banking School at the University of Washington. I'm a retired bank vice president with over 30 years experience in the same duties as the Treasurer's Office. The Treasurer's Office is like the bank for the county government, taking in and dispersing tax dollars in a fair, accurate, and timely manner. Also investing money, tax deeds, title reports, collecting money, and making complex calculations like urban renewal taxing districts. The Treasurer's Office is about much more than accounting. I will bring stability, leadership, and responsibility to the Treasurer's Office. When I take something on, I stick with it. I worked for one bank for 20 years, then Bank of Pullman and successors for another 15 years before retirement. All of these positions were in management. I've managed financial service offices with over 25 employees and investments and budgets up to $50 million. I will be very comfortable with the $19.7 million county budget. After retiring from the bank, I realized that retirement was not for me. I started my own business 5 years ago. My largest client is Latah Federal Credit Union, who have been with me for the entire 5 years. All of my work requires leadership, working together, and making the right decisions based on analysis and objective facts. I have extensive public service experience, including governance positions on over 20 public and nonprofit boards. I've served as president of the Moscow Chamber of Commerce, 15 years as chair of the board of Grittman Medical Center, and I'm currently vice chair of Idaho Workforce Development and Idaho Health Facilities Authority, the last two as appointments of Governor Otter. I know how to get things done.
and I look forward to working with you as Latah County Treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bigley.
Hello friends, neighbors, lots of familiar faces. I am Annette Biegler and I am running for Latah County Assessor. I have been a resident on the Palouse for 20 years. When I graduated from WSU, I knew I wanted to make Moscow's community my home. And for the last 15 years, I have been a self-employed restaurant owner. As a candidate for assessor, I am interested in local government because I believe in strong community leadership. I am already a board member for the Board of Adjustments of Moscow, as I was appointed by Mayor Lambert 3 years ago. I may not be an employee of the assessor's office, but I understand the assessor's duties and responsibilities quite clearly. A good assessor's team is to collect data of all property within the county and appraise it fairly, following the guidelines set forth in Title 63 by the State Tax Commission. The assessor also administers the program and applications for property tax relief and oversees the performance of the Department of Motor Vehicles. A successful assessor is capable of communicating with taxpayers on how appraisal works, explaining in an educated and respectful manner how we came up with their assessment. With that, while it is not required for the elected assessor to be a certified appraiser or certified in mapping or any of those other little talents, big talents only, I spent a week in Boise this past July attending a class to become a certified appraiser. So I have one class out of the 2 that are required to fulfill those requirements. The class material and its concepts came very easily to me as I enjoyed learning appraising and conquering the exam. Thanks for having us here today.
Thank you. Mr. Wakefield.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rod Wakefield, running for the assessor office position. Thanks to the league for having us here tonight. My campaign is just based on my experience. I urge everyone to please read the league's voter guide that outlines my experience. I have a lot of experience, but I'm going to personalize this up a little bit, just tell you about who I am, where I came from. I grew up on a large farm near Ames, Iowa, a town pretty similar to Moscow. Iowa State University is located there. Go Cyclones. When I was growing up, the population of Ames was approximately 19,000 to 22,000 people. Even though I lived just a mile and a half from Ames, I was in the Nevada School District. So I went to grade school and high school in Nevada, a small town about 3,400 people, about 8 miles away. Kindergarten through 4th grade, I even attended small country schools. Ames is now a city of around 68,000 people, so it has tripled in size since I went to high school. Moscow is currently seeing a huge population growth spurt in Latah County as well. New construction seems to be thriving. After both my parents passed in 2000, my ex-wife Marcy and I moved to beautiful Idaho in 2001 to St. Mary's. I started my assessor office career in Benoit County in 2004 and came to Latah County in 2007. Marcy, the best window clerk in the Moscow post office, and I split up in 2015, and I kept some acres up in Benoit County, and I plan to build a house and retire there. I have over 14 years assessor office experience, 11 years here at Latah County. I worked for 24 years at the post office where I did practically every position from top to bottom. So I have over 38 years of public service. Thank you.
Thank you very much.